Hello, my name is Diana and I'm a first-year Masters of Teaching student at Boise. Today, I would like to explore how ELL voices in the classrooms are heard in our current educational system. I will talk about what are some of the challenges ELL students encounter and also some challenges teachers may face due to having ELL students in their classrooms. Furthermore, I will talk about what stereotypes teachers can have towards ELL students and what are some strategies that teachers can use to break out of these stereotypes and support language acquisition among ELL students. Reflecting my own memories as an English language learner from where I stand right now as a future classroom teacher, I realized that there were so many misconceptions of English language learners that my classroom teachers had. I would like to go over some of these misconceptions. First, educators need to be aware of students' previous educational experiences. Students that come from various backgrounds may have had different experiences in education in their homelands. Educators need to be considerate of these changes the students experience after settling into a new country. Before moving to Canada in grade 3, I struggled to thrive in South Korean elementary school that fostered rote learning. Korean elementary schools promoted teacher-centered education, where educators simply transfer the information from a top-down hierarchy. Students often had little room to express themselves with creativity or learn through discovery. When I was first exposed to the educational system in Ontario, I felt uncomfortable in the new classroom environment because it was very different from what I received in Korea. I felt overwhelmed by the degree of participation expected in class, especially at times when I did not feel confident expressing myself in English. I preferred to remain silent because I was afraid that I might embarrass myself in front of my peers by giving the wrong answer. It is likely for educators to assume that a student is uninterested in learning judging by their degree of participation in their classroom. It is easy to think in this way. However, educators need to always remember the factors that might hinder students from participating in the classroom. Students may feel uncomfortable in expressing themselves due to their personality, language barrier, or other various feelings. Educators need to try their best to create activities that are tailored towards students' personal needs, which may make them feel more motivated to engage in their learning. Second, it is important to remember that students' language ability does not translate to their intellectuality. Oftentimes, English language learners are mistaken to have a low academic level due to their communication ability. Students are not freely able to express their thoughts in English, which can also affect other subjects that are taught in English. When I first came to Canada in grade 3, my teacher recommended my parents to place me into special education program. This was because I often could not give answers to her questions or complete the tasks given in the classroom setting. During the class activity time, I was often lost or performed irrelevant tasks. My behavior reflected very poorly to my teachers, which resulted them to think that I had learning disabilities. She suggested that I should be separated from my classroom peers to meet with another specialist who knows better about my symptoms. It is certainly hard to distinguish between a language deficiency and a learning disability. However, as an educator, it is crucial that we offer comprehensive input and scaffolded instruction in order to maximize the students' understanding. Furthermore, it is likely for ELL students' language ability to highly influence other areas of their studies because they are often pulled out of class during other class activities to receive further support from language specialists. This system may negatively impact ELL students both socially and academically, as they may be missing out on various class activities for other subject areas, as well as having a lower social interaction with their classroom peers. Therefore, communicating with other teachers in charge of the ESL or ELD program is the key. If students are being pulled out of their class for further support, educators must fill them with the information they have missed to ensure that they are on the same page with other students. Third, another common stereotype is that English language learners will not learn English if they use their mother tongue language in the classroom. Surprisingly, many educators believe this and therefore ban their students from speaking or expressing in their first language. Students are often expected to leave their language and culture at home before they come to school. While I was working at an international school in Korea last year, I have also witnessed many cases where students were punished for talking in their first language with their peers. Although the intention of creating an appropriate environment to help students to gain fluency in English is good, strictly prohibiting them from the mother tongue is misleading. Providing opportunities for students to use their first language to discuss new learning or clarify their understanding of a concept or task allows them to share their thinking without the barrier of their limited proficiency in English. Inviting them to use their first language facilitates the social and emotional transition into a formal school setting. It gives them a notion that it is safe for them to express their cultural values, which also leads other students in the classroom to respect each other. As a class, students learn about the cultural diversity that exists in the classroom and the multiple perspectives that English language learners bring to their learning. Furthermore, current research shows that students' L1 acquisition plays an important role in further gaining their L2 proficiency. This suggests that students' L1 needs to be well established in order to learn their L2. Teachers need to first acknowledge that students' mother tongue can be used as a useful tool for them to gain their English skills. This will provide many opportunities for the students to use their own language to strengthen their English skills in the classrooms. Circumstances of when it is appropriate to use their home language and the expectations about when they will be asked to respond in English need to be reviewed and explained to English language learners. Then you may ask, what are some practical ways that educators can incorporate in their lessons that can benefit English language learners in the classroom? Here are some ways that I suggest you to implement in your classroom. Let's start with number 1, building foundational skills. Building foundational skills in literacy is crucial for all students. Let's start with number 1, building foundational skills. Building foundational skills in literacy is crucial for all students. Academic success requires not only being able to read and write correctly, but also comprehending meaning from text and creating a new work upon applying, analyzing, and evaluating the text. ELL students first need to build foundational skills in English reading and writing that include knowledge of letter sounds relationships, concept of print, phonological awareness, comprehending meaning from text, and being able to write letters, words, and sentences. These skills are related with one another and build on one another. Therefore, it would be beneficial for students to be taught in context of lessons and activities that are enjoyable and meaningful for them. Also, as much as written language, oral language is an important practice for English language learners. Before students begin to write any texts, encourage students to engage in spoken language. This may act as a scaffold learning where it allows students to activate their thinking before they read or write anything. Practicing orally before writing a text may well prepare them to clarify their use of language before writing. 2. Visual depictions. You simply cannot ignore the power of pictures when teaching an English language learner. Pictures immediately act as a conversation starter for English language learners and build a sense of motivation for them to discuss what the picture is about. They are more engaging and often less daunting for students compared to written texts. Some lesson plan ideas may include making students bring their personal pictures from home to initiate classroom conversations. This enables students to share their lives outside the school context. As a follow-up activity, have the students to write about their pictures. It can be a great opportunity for educators to explore literacy concepts together, such as spelling, word spacing, punctuation, syntax, and etc. Furthermore, if students can engage in deeper level of thinking and describing an image, educators can repeat this practice with other images. Educators can give students various images to choose and have them engage in storytelling and their writing. Invite students to make connections to text. The connections build a collective experience for students and support teachers in gaining a better understanding of the students' lived experiences. Encourage students to generate a story orally and through text. Number 3. Using identity texts. In order to learn a new language and gain literacy skills, students need to feel welcome to bring in their own language and cultural backgrounds into the classroom. It is often seen that students go through an identity crisis when they first immigrate to a new country. Even for a young child, it can be a struggle to leave their home country and enter an unfamiliar place to start anew.